All right, we're talking about lavender once again today. Are you a fan of lavender? This is a video taken from my top 10 spring notes deep dive video that I did a couple of months ago. And I decided to feature lavender in the video because I think lavender is a perfect note for spring. It's got that herbal kind of floral touch. It's also spicy, and I think it's not super intense, which makes it an easy wear for spring. So I've got a great collection of lavender fragrances for you today in this video, and you're going to want to sit back and enjoy this video. As I said, it's pulled from my deep dive video where I take portions of those videos and edit them down into shorter videos for you guys to enjoy, unless in case you don't like the long form deep dive video. So yes, lavender today, but I'm going to remind you guys once again about Scentfest SF, guys. If you haven't heard yet, or if you've been on the fence, please get your tickets to Scentfest SF. It's happening on June 26, 27, and 28 here in San Francisco. It's going to be a great show with awesome brands. You'll discover really great new fragrances and also, speak to the people behind the brands as well and enjoy really awesome experiences all around fragrances. So it's happening June 26, 27, 28 here in San Francisco at the Fort Mason overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge with views of Alcatraz and San Francisco Bay. And also around the same time as a few other fragrance events nearby in Northern California. I have a video linked in the info box with the announcement. You'll get all the details there. And the link to Scentfest SF is there as well. So now let's talk about lavender. Let me know if you have a favorite lavender-focused fragrance, and let's get started with the list. Lavender is considered aromatic, and even though I had an aromatic herbs section in the video already, I wanted to highlight lavender on its own because I consider it a great spring note. We're gonna go with lavender or Lavande 31 first with Labo. Let me know what you think about this. This is a very modern fougère fragrance, and my only complaint about the fragrance is that it's not super beast mode like all Le Labo fragrances are, but it smells super fantastic for a fragrance. And I think it's perfectly appropriate for spring because spring is not super hot yet. You've got some cool, so I feel like this you can liberally spray this stuff on. You can wear it in the summertime as well, but I think lavender as a note is really appropriate for spring. So it's a bit spicy. For sure, it's very aromatic. There's some warmth in there, but not quite. There's some musks in there. You've got the Le Labo DNA for sure. It's definitely prominent here. But it's a overall quite classy, modern take on a fougère, and I think it's quite unisex for lavender. Sometimes lavender tends to go masculine because they do the fragrances barbershop-y leaning. And even though this is considered a modern fougère or a fougère in general, I feel like it's quite unisex. A woman and a man can totally pull this off. Let me know if you're a fan of Le Labo's Lavande 31. What do you guys think? Add a comment below. I do enjoy Le Labo. When I first started speaking about fragrances, I was all over Rose 31, Thé Noir, Bergamot 22. Ended up with enjoying Benjoin 19 from their city exclusives. And, the musk, the LA city exclusive musk is so super sexy. So there are a lot of Le Labo fragrances I enjoy. But obviously my palette changed and I've moved on. And I don't find the brand as super exciting as it used to before, but I think Lavande 31, they did a pretty darn good job with it. I just wish it was a bit more beefier, So let's move on to the next lavender focused fragrance. And this could have totally fit into the herb category because it's a lavender with mint. This is wild mint and lavandin. And I didn't mention lavandin. Lavandin is, I have a video on the channel explaining what lavandin is in comparison to lavender. There's multiple varieties of lavender out there. There's also lavandin. And a lot of times, some brands don't mention it's lavandin and they mention lavender, but you're actually, they're using lavandin. Here they mention lavandin for sure. It's very aromatic, very herbal, super spicy, fresh fragrance from Molton Brown, utilizing the mint and the lavandin. And lavandin is, out of all the different varieties of the types of lavender, and it's a hybrid. Lavandin is a hybrid. And as I said, I have a video explaining the different varieties of lavender plus some other herbs that are grown in the south of France. And definitely, if you're curious, search the channel for that video. But you definitely have a kind of a bowl of herbs here. Dry herbs and fresh herbs together. Mint for sure. I'm also picking up clary sage in this. So it's kind of leaning masculine offering here from Molton Brown. So very aromatic, super spicy, and very spring appropriate here. Wild Mint and Lavandin from the house of Molten Brown. And we do have something fougère-like here. It's Lavande 44 from Rania J. This is actually kind of old school a bit old school leaning, I think. It's a fougère, very lavender forward. Tonka in the base you can pick up. You have that shaving soap touch, a bit of a reminder of something like Fougere Royale, or even I have Beau de Jour coming up here in a little bit. Maybe something a little bit also like the sartorial from Penhaligon's, Fougere Royale. So you've got all those touches here with this fragrance, but really nicely done. Very classic, old school. Reminds me of my dad because he used to wear Brut, and this also reminds me of Brut a little bit, which the lavender really is highlighted here in a little bit of an old school way, but I like that about it. So Lavande 44 by Rania J. I think it's a perfect spring offering. I'm gonna go with my older bottle with this fragrance. It's been redone recently, but I think when I smelled the fragrances, it reminded me of one another. So I think the smell has not changed too much. This is Masculine Pluriel from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. The juice is not brown anymore. It's a bit more yellowish. Super classy take on a fougère for the guys, just like what Francis does with some of his fragrances. He does tend to do super refined offerings. I think it's the DNA he uses for this brand, not Dior. I mean, you can totally tell this is a MFK offering because the base here is also the base of a lot of his other fragrances for this house. Not any of the ouds, but some of the, you know, the non-oud fragrances. But it's, you know, lots of lavender, very fougère-like, and a perfect fragrance to wear spring, I think. Are you guys happy with the new version of Masculin Pluriel? I haven't really worn it. I've got my original bottle here. It still smells great. Love it. I bought that for a great deal, by the way. Then we're gonna go to the house of Tom Ford. It's Beau de Jour. Don't worry, this is not all fougères, by the way. Beau de Jour is definitely a old school style, modernized fougère for the guys. Started out as a private blend fragrance, then moved to the signature line. And this came out around the time of a lot of lavender-focused fragrances from Tom Ford. I remember when I first started talking about fragrances, there was a lavender fragrance from Tom Ford called Lavender Palm, which I couldn't stand. That fragrance was the weirdest fragrance. It was oily, like it had a weird oily texture. I love the smell of lavender, but that didn't, you know, wow me at all. I couldn't stand it. But then fast forward like 8 years, they launched Fougere Platine, Fougere, what's the other Fougere? And then they had the Beau de Jour, they had the Lavender Extreme, I think it was Fougere Ardente. So 4 of them. And they somewhat got discontinued. Lavender Extreme totally discontinued. I think Fougere Platine is also, but Fougere Ardente I think is still selling. And there was a rumor that Beau de Jour was also getting the axe. I don't know if it's really happened yet. Rumors appear and then it really happens, so be on guard. But I find this to be super awesome, and also the lavender in Beau de Jour is so realistic. Like, to me, it places me in the lavender fields that I spent last summer. I was in the south of France during the harvest. That's where I shot the video on the lavender and the lavandin and all those ingredients. And it puts me smack dab in the middle of the lavender fields. It smells so realistic. I love that about it. But to me, it's so spring, fresh, green herbs. Awesome. So that's Beau de Jour. I would hate for Beau de Jour to get discontinued. Really would hate it because I think it's great. And for some strange reason, I'm seeing that, not strange that I'm seeing some fougère revivals, you know, like I already spoke about Dodo Jackfruit Edition. But so I'm seeing some pop up, but I'm also seeing discontinuations, which is kind of disappointing that maybe there's not much interest in fougère fragrances. But the next fragrance I'm talking about is from the house of Akro. It's Breathe. This is a watery offering with an overdose of aromatic lavender. So this is totally different than anything else I spoke about. It's super fresh. It's musky and spicy aromatic with the lavender note. I think leave this for the warmest days in spring. It's super cooling. It's called Breathe, and it's yeah, very watery. It's like you're wearing water almost. I like that about it. It's fun. It's for the person that likes not super intense offerings, I think. But you can totally notice the lavender in this. It's there. But it doesn't jump out like lavender that's in Beau de Jour. It's a bit more restrained. It's not super loud. Have you discovered Breathe? Do you like it? I like Breathe quite a bit, actually. Definitely one of my favorites. I still think Smoke is a top fragrance for me. Dark and Awake. I even love Night. The tea one is good. Crush has grown on me quite a bit. It's the macaroon one. The Glow, I think, is the amber. I like that one too. There's a few that I enjoy from the house. So let's move on to Parle-MOI de Parfum next. It's Hautes-Provence 89. The fact that it has the name or the word Provence in it means we're gonna, experience lavender. But it's fruity lavender. And also the fruits they use in here, melons, gives you a slight marine edge. So Provence is in the south of France, which is close to the Mediterranean. So I think maybe that's kind of the inspiration here. But it's not super marine. It's almost marine fruity. I think the fruitiness of I think it's cantaloupes, because it reminds me of cantaloupes, which for me, I'm not the biggest fan of melon-focused fragrances. So because they do remind me of marine notes. But as far as consuming them, I much prefer watermelon over cantaloupes or any other kind of melons. I don't like melons, period, except for watermelon as a flavor. But this is very, very, very melon forward. So, and also the fact that it's very melon forward, it gives you that whole slight marine edge. But beneath it all, there's a lot of lavender there. And you're basically, paying tribute to the south of France, Haute-Provence, and you've got the lavender. I spend a lot of time in the south of France. I really love visiting France and traveling there on vacation and discovering. I just wish I spoke French more, but one of these days I'll be fluent, I guess. We'll see. But that is Parle-MOI de Parfum Haute-Provence 89. Let me know if you're familiar with the brand. From the brand, I really love Wake Up World, and I also love Mile High. Those two are awesome. If you haven't discovered those fragrances, please do. They're awesome fragrances. And I think we're gonna go to an old school offering, going to the house of Guerlain. This is Jicky. I'm so glad this was gifted to me by a subscriber at our 54 event at Lucky Scent in, not last year, but the year before. Thank you for gifting. I had dismissed this fragrance. But I just probably didn't really give it too much attention. When you're smelling fragrances in a retail establishment, you're moving on from one to the other. And I had dismissed it. And I generally really love Guerlain fragrances, really do. And now that I have it and have utilized it and enjoy it, really didn't realize it was a fougère style. It is a fougère style. It's, I think it's one of the first, well, not the first, because Fougere Royale is the first, but this acts a bit like Fougere, but then it also acts more like just a straightforward lavender fragrance rather than, Fougere total barbershop-y. Does that make sense? It has those old school, it has the old school DNA. It has, because you can smell it, and it's a Guerlain. It's an historic fragrance, classic fragrance dating back to the early 1900s. But you smell it, it's classic. You smell it, it's a bit fougère. You smell it, and then, then it's just like a straightforward lavender offering. But it's really, really great. There does seem to be a little bit of funk when it's on skin, but it's not overdose. Maybe the original version, the original formulation was a bit more animalic, but I like whatever it is here in it that this fragrance offers. This is my very, very first experience with the Jicky, and I wish I had experienced it way long ago. I really love it. In fact, I would say I love Jicky more than Mitsuko, and I've had Mitsuko for a good 10 years in my collection. Go figure. But between the classics, I think it's still L'Heure Bleue for me. L'Heure Bleue is amazing, a masterpiece. This is really, really great though. Jicky, let me know what your thoughts are. I think it's a great fragrance to wear in the spring. And then finally, I'm going to the house of Chanel with Boy, a unisex fougère once again. So this is a really great offering. It came out a few years after a fragrance from the house of Hermès called, anyway, the geranium focused fragrance from Hermès. It was a flanker which got discontinued, and I'm hunting down a bottle. I can't find it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that because it's a fougère, but I feel like there's a lot of geranium in this. But there's a lot of lavender, don't get me wrong, it's not just about the geranium. But for some reason, it reminded me of, it's Equipage Geranium, that's the name. So I need to find a bottle of Equipage Geranium. If anybody knows of the status of one, let me know. And I think I should probably get a bottle of Equipage as well, because I've never worn Equipage. But the very first time I sampled Equipage Geranium, I was on a trip in Norway, of all places. No, I'm sorry, not Norway. What am I saying? Denmark. I've never been to Norway. In Denmark, and I smelled it there, and I fell in love, and I got it right on the spot. But I had never worn Equipage, and definitely need to find me a bottle of Equipage Geranium, because I'm at the bottom of mine and it's gotten discontinued, sadly. But again, Boy is a fougère, quite a modern fougère, but you know, paying tribute to the classics. And even though it has a lot of lavender, I feel like it also has a lot of geranium, and that's what reminds me of Equipage Geranium. But super awesome, great fragrance to wear springtime. I do have to say, it does have a little bit of warmth in the base, so there's a little bit of something creamy, vanillic warmth. Maybe tonka is what's giving that effect. Thanks so much for watching that video on lavender. Let me know if you're a fan of lavender. What kind of lavender fragrances do you like? What are some of your favorites? Did you like the fragrances I discussed today? What's missing off that list? Let me know what they are. Do add a comment below. And again, I appreciate you tuning in today. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. Click the bell icon so you'll be reminded every day that there's a new video, because I do tend to air videos every day, sometimes less than every day, but I generally do. So you won't miss out any of the videos. And also, please give a thumbs up for this video. That helps with the algorithm, and it gets the video out further. And once again, don't miss out on Scentfest SF. I hope to see you here, and it's going to be a great show. Bye-bye.